Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Dreamwalker Tarot. My name is Dawn, and this is the November reading for Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Mars. Please go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell for post notifications. For this first part of the reading, I'll be using the Magic and Mediums Oracle deck by Anielle Reed, illustrated by Ash Color, to kind of get the energy for what you are going through at this time. And Virgo, the first card that came out for you is Release in the Reverse. And Release in the Reverse is basically talking about you holding on to something that has passed or something that has transpired in your life. And instead of actually releasing it, it's like you're suppressing the event or in your life. It could have been something that was traumatic. Or you were, you're dealing with some memories or some heartaches that you haven't healed or erased them. You've basically repressed them. And repressing certain emotions and memories can, even though you feel like you're moving on with your life, that repression can impact your everyday life and your everyday attitudes towards people that come into your life or towards people that are already in your life. And to some degree, it can it can impact, in fact, that's interesting, impact your physical health. Okay. There is the belief that when you do not release certain things, it affects different parts of your physical body, not just your your physical body, but also your emotional body, and can cause blocks in other parts of your system. Aside from just being physically ill, it can cause low self-esteem. It can cause obsession. It can cause like being overly critical of yourself, and basically impacts certain organs in your body. Specifically, if you have issues, like if you're sad, it could have impact your lungs. It could be a relationship with lung issues and sore throats, runny nose, dry skin, fatigue, fevers and chills. Just holding on to that energy in your body is basically creating blockages in your body because of the emotions that you're repressing and not releasing. The second card that came out is Elemental Magic. And this is talking about creating change in your environment by working with the spirit of the elements or the elements themselves. And the elements are earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. You, of course, would be associated with earth energy. And when earth energy is balanced, it can be patient, it can be enduring, but in the excess, if you're too much earth energy, you can be lazy, you can be bored, you can really result in a stuck type of energy. And with the addition of the release card that I showed you earlier, that could be something that you're kind of going through, is in a sense of being energetically stuck in some ways it's kind of like manifesting itself in your life with your ability to kind of like move forward, especially like I said, we're trying to release certain things in your life. So please check where this earth energy is in your chart to kind of get like a real a real specific narrowing down of where it could be. So if you have a lot of earth energy, you can work with other elements to kind of balancing yourself out. You can work with water energy. Specifically, I would prefer to work with water energy. You can work with fire, you can work with air, but most definitely you can work with spirit to help you move certain energies in your life. One of the things that really help to kind of like bring your energy into balance is meditation, which is kind of represented here in this card. Is really meditating for at least like 45 minutes a day if you can. Every little bit helps, right? And just that will help you move blockages in your life. The final card that came out was the Learn card, and Learn card is basically talking about gaining or acquiring knowledge of or any skill in something by study, experience, or being taught. And again, with the elemental magic, it's really talking about balancing your energy, specifically in the ways of kind of like developing like a self-care practice that will help you stay balanced and stay focused, and kind of force you out of stages or feelings of being stuck. I know that we like this seems to be a topic that's coming up a lot in the readings, is our reliance on modern technology in the modern age, and how somehow that tends to distract us from ancient wisdom and ancient information and ancient knowledge. And this is really talking about kind of leaning into dealing with your ancestors, specifically any feminine matriarchal ancestral energy, mother, grandmother energy, especially if any of those people in your family have passed over, and kind of like working with learning from the past to inform your present and also your future. Because if you don't learn the mistakes of the past, you basically get stuck in a cycle where you are kind of like repeating the same thing. And so this is like a call for you to work with your inner child to kind of heal ancestral wounds, and try to basically, like I said, learn from the past so that you can inform your present and also your future, and basically working with like your inner child to heal any inner child wounds or any type of issues that developed in your childhood, or just our ancestral generational traumas or patterns or cycles that are passed down throughout your family. Okay, so moving on to the next tarot spread, I'll be using the True Black Tarot deck, and I will be working with the Celtic Cross spread. The first card that came out, which is in the position of what is the current energy for Virgos, is the Five of Pentacles in the reverse. And the Five of Pentacles is really talking about a type of financial hardship. In the reverse, it's signifying that this is an energy that you're coming out of. You might have kind of stumbled upon a period of financial hardship where you lost a job, or your finances are kind of a little sketchy right now, and this could also be manifesting itself in terms of money, like like I said, it's a job situation, a foundation. You might have to move, you might have lost a home, a vehicle, but it's also can be speaking about like your physical health and kind of recovering from an illness, but also this can be emotional health as well. So going through a rough period emotionally, difficulty in like your personal relationships with people, or something that has you down mentally, financially, emotionally, and also spiritually. This could be, like I said, some type of illness. It could be an accident, a loss of a job, something that affects like your financial security in some ways, and kind of just going through a financial hardship of some kind, which is in the reverse. So you're kind of coming out of that period where you're starting to kind of navigate back into your element, and trying to like working on acquiring wealth and trying to get a new job, or you might have just recently gotten a new job, or whatever your financial issues are, they're kind of like straightening themselves out. Okay. What is crossing you at this time is the Anant card. And the Anant card is kind of unique to this particular deck. It's really it's a card of cycles. infinite cycle. So the non card refers to the never ending, eternal, and exempt. And while all other temporal beings enter existence, growth, and then die, and not exist outside of those constraints and rules, it has been and will always be a core concept shared by other world religions. This card is, as you can see, has a fetus, which is kind of like the in between, and it represents like the cyclical nature of eternity. And inside of it is a snake, a coiled snake that is usually depicted as well. It's supposed to serve as like the remainder. So we have the eternal, and then we have the remainder, which is kind of like that unknown element that is here to kind of like support and guide and to help you to manifest. So this basically is saying is that this period of financial hardship or something is something that seems to happen with you, Virgo, on a cyclical level. It's that feeling of not having enough, not being enough, and kind of like that is like a cycle in your life, like a systematic thing where there's ups and there's downs and there's highs and there's lows, and that is normal. That's just a normal part of life. But I feel like there's something a little bit deeper attached to this. Like I said in the beginning, with the beginning spread, this is something that kind of comes out of like your childhood, and is like a generational mentality that has been passed down. It's like a real poverty mindset that has kind of taken hold on your life. And so right now you're coming out of that phase and trying to kind of recalibrate your life and moving forward. Let's move on and see what the rest of the cards say. What is at the subconscious of the situation is the Three of Pentacles, which is the idea that is kind of like an invitation to work with other people, right? To kind of like, usually like in the typical Rider-Waite deck, it's like a symbol of like apprenticeship, working together, working with other people, trying to like build your strength, working with a team, and understanding that being by yourself and being in solitude is not necessarily the best way to go, but to be able to work with other people, each person giving their equal and valuable contributions, where one person can take care of one thing and the other person can take care of another. Like someone plants the seed, someone waters the dirt, another person tends to the growth, another person harvests. And so there's this element in the subconscious of this is that you should learn to work with other people and work with other individuals, kind of working to plan and dedicate yourself to growing, investing in a solid foundation for the future. And this is just something that will happen through careful consideration and preparation, but it's also something that will happen when you learn how to work with others, and not try to go at it alone, because there is a sense here that you feel like you have to go it alone and that you can't, you don't have anyone, or you don't trust that you have anyone to work with you. There's also the idea here that if you are trying to go on a new venture, now is a good time to really try to develop the skill sets associated with that. This card is also a card of studying, of learning from other people, and like I said, not just relying on yourself and your own abilities, but expanding yourself to allow other people to help teach you or to inform you, being an understudy, being an apprentice, kind of like leaning in to help with someone else. Someone else can be initiating you or teaching you or guiding you. And so that is like the energy affiliated in the subconscious with this card. In the past is being represented by the Three of Cups. Three of Cups is really talking about celebrations, joyfulness, being in type of a circle with friends, with family, really just kind of having like the type of connections where you feel like you can trust people, that you're bonded together in some sort of way, whether this be family, whether this be friends. There really was a period of time in your life where you felt like you had that type of support system or the type of connection. And this is in the past. And so it kind of feels like you don't feel that way anymore. Yeah, it kind of feels like there's a loss, even though the card is in the upright, but it is in the past position. So it feels like this was how you felt in the past and you don't feel that way anymore. The ideal turnout for you, Virgo, is represented by the Hermit card, which is your court card, right? So the Hermit is talking about kind of like going off to yourself, kind of just really being alone, which is kind of like the just the opposite of what the cards are saying, but it really does feel like you're kind of like navigating this space, trying to deal with like your own darknesses and trying to figure out the truth of who you can trust, of who you can work with, of who you can really include in your circle, right? And trying to figure that out on an intuitive level about who you can allow in, and who you can really trust to be that support system to really help and to guide you, because I do feel like there is a level of distrust associated with working with other people. This could be because like there's a lot of threes on the board. This could be something where you were involved in a situation with other people, and you felt betrayed, or you felt like you took a loss. I'm gonna actually do a clarification for this card. Okay, so the Hermit card is being clarified by the Four of Knives in reverse, which is also similar to the Four of Swords, the Six of Baskets, and the Five of Sticks in the reverse. Okay, so absolutely. This is like a self-imposed isolation period that you're kind of putting on yourself, right? I feel like like I said, with the celebration in the past, there was an issue with your interactions with other people, particularly in your family, with the Six of Baskets, which is also the Six of Cups, is representative of your childhood. So this is actually coming out of that first spread where we're talking about old childhood wounds, and having to do like inner child work because of things that happened in your past or in your childhood, or as a result of the family that you were born into. A lot of that seems to be kind of like manifesting itself where you kind of feel separated from your family or from people that you kind of have known for a long time or grew up with, because of feeling really kind of tired of the constant back and forth, or like the fighting, or feeling like people were talking about you, or people were kind of treating you in a way that you felt like a family member shouldn't treat you. And so you are kind of removed and separated from them because of that. This does, like I said, look like it is a type of like ancestral thing, or ancestral pattern, and something that happens in your family, like I said, particularly with the women in your family, because it's like a trained way of handling certain things, or a trained way of dealing with people that you feel like should be there for you, and then they're not, right? So this is something that has been passed down, and this is what Spirit is saying for you to kind of like understand that even though at this time you might feel like you're alone, you're never alone, and Spirit is trying to help you navigate through this period, like you're through this hermit phase that you're going through, and understanding that they are working with you, even though the people or the situation in the physical realm might feel like it's not working with you. In the near future is being represented here by the Destiny card, which is this deck's equivalent of the Wheel of Fortune card, right? So again, this is the idea that there is an unknowable, uncontrollable force that is kind of like having an impact on this situation right now, right? So it's the thought that you have other entities that are around you, that are kind of assisting you, but also this is really speaking to patterns and cycles that you have, repetitive cycles that keep going around. So it's the idea that a lot of the things that you can and cannot do are really controlled by destiny, right? They're the element of destiny, or the element of things that are out of our control, are kind of at play. This is really about fate, right? This is this particular destiny card has in his hands the upright and down, the up and down triangle, which are symbols of earth and, heaven and earth, good and evil, beginning and end, as above, so below. And to understand that some things are beyond human control, and there's some things that you can't really predict, and some things that are inevitable. A lot of this, like I said, has to do with ancestral patterns, and cycles that are passed down through your family. But like I said, there is a sense, and there is this element that spirit is definitely working on your behalf to kind of help you navigate through this rough period in your life, and try to show you and teach you the things that you might not necessarily know, but definitely passing the information on to you in the way that spirit knows how to. In the position of your approach is the Ace of Pentacles in the upright. And so really, and really it looks like you're going to do what you do best, Virgo, which is you're going to work your way through this. You're going to hack your way through this. With the this particular Ace of Pentacles, there is the element of the mountains in the on the bottom of the card with the arrow, which really shows that this is coming out of like a period of difficulty, especially financial difficulty. You might be given a gift of money. You might have money coming to you, especially with the Wheel of Fortune card, the Destiny card. Your approach is to definitely work through the situation, but spirit is actively working along with you in order for you to establish like a foundation for yourself and for your life that can basically sustain you in the future. In your environment is being represented here by the Four of Pentacles in reverse, which kind of symbolizes a little bit of greed, a little bit of hoarding, a little bit of materialism, holding on to your money, really holding on to it because you're afraid to lose it. This is also really symbolic of like a stagnant energy, which is what we're talking about, the release in the first spread, releasing of, I mean, I know that it's usually finances in the situation, but this is also speaking about releasing emotions. And also the idea of hoarding money as a way to keep money sometimes actually kind of blocks your ability to grow, because you have this idea about money that if you hold on to it, it will serve you better. And this is coming from, like I said, like a type of poverty mindset that was represented in the beginning of this reading with the Five of Pentacles that came out, right? So you want to kind of be very mindful of the way that you are with money in terms of controlling your finances, and using your finances to control other people, and also just being stagnant with your money, and also your ideas and your emotions. This is really an indication that you do need to release a lot of the issues that you have, especially with trusting that you're going to be okay on a financial level. That is being represented here by this Four of Pentacles in reverse. For some of you, it's time to really evaluate the importance of money in your life. Are you being materialistic? Are you being greedy? Are you using money to control other people? Are you holding on to things that you need to let go and to release? And I think, like I said, with the other card showing up, the release card, there's definitely the aspect of releasing your ideas about money and materialism, but also too, for some of you, there is the element of overspending and spending too much money or not being able to hold on to money, and which is kind of what has put you kind of like in a financial in the financial hardship that you are currently coming out of. And so really just kind of like looking at your relationship with money and how it plays out in your life. This could also be because it is in the space of the environment. It might not necessarily be you. It could also be someone that you share space with, or someone that is in your circle that has these ideas about money as well. What you need to know is being represented here by the Ace of Wands in the upright and the Knight of Wands in the reverse. And so this is really about kind of like stepping out in a bold way. This could be trying to actually spend your time and energy to work on something that is just like a creative thing for you. But the Knight of Wands in the reverse is really speaking about be mindful of your energy and wasting your energy, because with the Ace of Pentacles, I mean, you are working on something, but you want to make sure that the work that you're putting in is actually going to yield the results that you're looking for. So with the Knight here in the reverse, take the time to really think about the steps that you're taking and the direction that you're going in, rather than kind of like wasting energy. You want to make sure that you plan appropriately and not to kind of like be reckless with your time and your energy. There might be an issue where you are taking on a little bit too much, and that's going to lead you to feeling a little bit burnt out, especially because the final card that came out in the position of the final outcome of this situation is being represented here by the Ten of Wands, which is feeling overburdened and overwhelmed and feeling like you have too much on your plate. So be careful about stepping into a new venture and just kind of like throwing yourself into it without really thinking about where you want to kind of take this, and taking on too many projects or too many other things outside of yourself to distract you. You might end up feeling a little bit like, everything is on you and kind of like overworked. Now, the good thing about the Ten of Wands and what's represented on the image of this card is like the beetle. And the beetle is in, like the card says, is intent on riding along instead of offering any aid. It represents a time when the overwhelming responsibilities currently shouldered have been doled out unevenly. Unfortunately, the beetle that is depicted has the ability to carry up to 100 times its weight. And so you might be feeling a little bit overburdened in the near future, particularly coming out of the situation and with the Ace of Pentacles, what you'll be working towards. But everything has its end, and you are in like this period where you're in a sense having like a cyclical moment. So this is a time and the opportunity to kind of learn from your past situations, and like I said, doing some inner child work to kind of see where these ideas that you have about family and friends and working with other people and feeling like you have to go out on your own, that is definitely like a childhood thing. It's definitely looks like a type of generational trauma that is kind of like handed down to you within your own family structure that was represented by the Six of Cups. And so this is definitely the time to really think about that, but also to think about the work that you're doing and what is the end result of this. Like if you're putting energy into something, you want to make sure that the results are in line with what it is that you want to accomplish in this time and space that you're here, and not that you're pouring out unnecessary amounts of energy into something that yields no return, right? especially when your focus is thinking about money. In some ways, there are some of you who want to do something that is a passion project or learning something that can help you really deal with the issues that you're going through. And that is absolutely fine. But if you're worried about building something that has a foundation for your future, then you need to think about the time and energy that you're putting into the things that you're working on. So the advice cards are coming from the Shamanic Healing Oracle deck by Michelle Motudas. And the first card that came out is 11 New Day, which is interesting because today is 11/11. A new day emerges. A new day enables us to see in a brand new light. We can see more clearly once the shadows of fear and doubt are brushed away by the light of creation. Once the initial shock of discovering the duality in a situation has worn off, you can find comfort that there truly is no bad or good, it just is. When this is realized, the possibilities for the outcome of a situation become endless. This card also advises to wait. Everything regarding the situation has yet to unfold. The second card is 2 for new beginnings. Water, emotion, energy, all life affirming and life giving. Patience is the key. Once the deluge of emotion passes, you will see that left in its wake is a wondrous new day, a rainbow of possibilities. Do not get attached to the emotions that surround the situation. This will only attach your identification with the emotion itself, giving it more power and hindering the release so that the door to your new beginning will not open. Sit in the emotion, cry, journal, talk it out with a friend, and then let it go. Perform a ritual if you are called to one. Place your feelings on a piece of paper and let it go. Whether through water or fire, both are excellent transmuting elements, which goes back to the idea of release, right? Be thankful for the experience of the situation and proclaim to the Creator that you are ready for the newness that is about to come into your life. The final card is the retreat card. This is a good time to retreat into your safe place, a quiet time to gather your resources for what's to come. Work on making your mind, body, and soul as strong and unencumbered as possible. This is the card that urges you to get your ducks in a row for the changes that lay ahead. Changes sometimes come fast and furious. Even when they are longed for, it can take us unprepared. By drawing this card, you're advised to prepare for some changes coming your way soon. Alternately, take this time to process the changes that you have recently gone through. And so this concludes our reading. Thank you, Virgo, for listening. I really appreciate you being here. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video with someone who you feel can benefit from the messages here, and leave a comment to let me know how this is kind of like manifesting itself in your life at this time. Also, hit the bell for post notifications. I look forward to speaking with you soon. Take care, Virgo.